Imagine you were Cavani Palmer in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and you are walking around when suddenly you're shot and subsequently killed. This was his reality. In 2021, Cavani Palmer was fatally shot and killed in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He was a bystander. There was a car chase going on. A suspect had fled the scene and was shooting at random, and he was unfortunately shot by a stray bullet. This isn't his fault, but it's still a homicide. And it's something that, frankly, a lot of our cities need help with. The question I've been given today is, what steps can U.S. metropolitan cities take to curb rising homicide rates? And my answer to that is that U.S. metropolitan cities can take a three-pronged approach in order to curb rising homicide rates. Number one, we need to introduce more gun safety policies that target illegal ownership and trafficking, not legal owners. Two, we need to implement community policing and intervention. Three, we need to implement mental health crisis response teams based off of the Memphis model that will be explained shortly. To start, gun safety policies. Gun safety policies are very divisive in the United States, and the United States on the whole has some of the loosest gun laws in the developed world. According to the California Partnership for Safe Communities and everytownresearchpolicy.org, New York City currently has a homicide rate of 4.7 gun deaths per capita, which is 100,000 people. The national average is 13.7. How did they achieve such a thing when famously it's very hard to do so? They have laws, and they have effective laws. To start, you have to have a background check to get a permit to carry the gun. You have to have a background check to own the gun. That's 2 background checks starting. Second, New York City has an extreme risk law, meaning that family members of a gun owner who think that they might be a danger to themselves or somebody else can petition the courts to then have that gun and ownership license taken away. It's a lengthy process, but it has served well over the past 2 to 3 decades. And three, New York City requires that all gun dealers, so all those who sell guns, have to have a license to do so, which is extremely difficult to obtain and is frankly more paperwork than it is actually selling the license. And lastly, they have ghost gun and no carry laws. Ghost guns mean that 3D printed gun parts have to be registered and properly sold, and if they aren't, they carry hefty penalties. And no carry gun laws mean that it's illegal to carry a gun, let alone use it, in a K-12 school, bar, hospital, unless you're a security officer, church or religious space marked as such, again, unless you're a security officer, and leaves it up to universities to put concealed carry laws in their university. So basically, you can only carry a gun in public spaces. Not to mention, you cannot carry them in city-owned or government buildings, as well as any demonstrations or protests, which makes it so that shooting into a crowd is much less likely. Now, given that New York City is very crowded, it would still be likely, but again, all of these laws have proven that New York City's gun deaths per capita is 1/3 the national average. So clearly, something is going right. New York City also implements community policing, or focused deterrence, which essentially means that police have a friendly, calm, and polite presence in times of peace, so when there's no crisis. This is famously seen to work in Newark, New Jersey, which experienced a 60% drop in violent crime from the year of 1990 to 2023. And this was done through a variety of community initiatives, as well as a review of the police department, but that's a separate matter. So community initiatives would be as follows. Number 1, increasing foot patrol. Having foot patrol in high violence neighborhoods or not violent neighborhoods, just to see that your police officers are here, they're friendly, and they're here to help you. Increasing the chances that when something happens, somebody who doesn't know otherwise would then go to the police officers that they see the most of. Secondly, Newark implemented several community strategies, including having cops more present and community days where people came to training grounds and saw what police officers did for training. This is also seen throughout the state of Indiana and the Indiana State Police Lafayette Post, Indianapolis Post, and South Bend Post. Additionally, Newark implemented Coffee with a Cop, which is essentially where cops, several of them, go to a restaurant, and any community person can sit down with them and essentially levy their concerns about the community onto that cop. And it could be as simple as, this policy doesn't make any sense, it doesn't affect us, to this person does this, and be a report. And that is also implemented in Lafayette, Indiana, and Indianapolis, Indiana, and has proved to be extremely effective. Third, my third and final point is that metropolitan cities can introduce mental health crisis response teams, famously seen in the Memphis, Tennessee models and Eugene, Oregon models. These cities made crisis intervention teams, which essentially means that they are trained foot patrol officers who learn basically how to psychologically evaluate someone, and several other training courses as far as treating mentally unstable and endangered individuals. According to the Niesonger Center, similar approaches modeled off of Memphis and Eugene have been used in Indianapolis, Indiana, New Haven, Connecticut, and Portland, Oregon. And in all cases, they, along with community initiatives, saw an extreme drop in recidivism and overall homicide rates. In conclusion, U.S. metropolitan cities need to take 3 steps I mentioned, which is introduce effective gun safety policies, introduce more community policing, and make mental health crisis response teams to lower the overall rising homicide rates. Thank you.